me to start because I like to start with 3 or more. Perfect. Hi, if you don't know who I am, I'm Juliana from More Cake Badass Edible Art, and I'm here doing Fake It With Me, which I come on and do every so often. I was supposed to come on today at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, but if you know me, you know I'm never on time for anything, but I'm on time for everything. So we're actually a little bit late today, but don't worry, next Thursday we're going to be super on time because I got this shit together now. We're going to be baking something interesting. So let me just say this. I'm not a real baker, so if you come here for any real baking tips, this is not the show to watch. But if you came here to get some good ideas to do for the holidays or for your friends or even for New Year's, then this is the show to watch. I'm going to do every Thursday, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you are. It's at yes_ma'am_sweets. Look, I have it right there for you. Not perfect. And we're going to do some holiday stuff today. And I'm going to make this great chocolate cake that I haven't made in quite some time. And my mother-in-law gave me the recipe. It's a French recipe that she gave me that she bakes for her son, my man. She bakes for him every so often for his birthday. And I thought I'll do it the non-baker scratch way and kind of zhuzh it up a little bit and have some fun with it. So it's a chocolate cake with apricot jam. And we're going to do an Italian buttercream. Yeah, topped off with apricots. So hopefully that sounds good. I have my lovely assistant here holding the camera for me. Everybody say hi, Lisa. She's here helping me out. She's going to read any of your comments or questions that you have during this time. And I know last Thursday, I said, oh, I'll have a whole menu. But I ain't got that menu yet. So next Thursday, we're going to have a whole menu up on the side. So that way you guys can always check the ingredients and exactly what I'm making. So let's get started, shall we? Oh, and first things first. Make sure you hit that, what is that at the bottom? That airplane at the bottom. And share this with all of your friends, whether they're bakers or not bakers. Because the more the merrier, then maybe they can come in and get some good tips. Oh, and do you guys like my bow? Isn't that cute? Am I getting thumbs up?
You're getting waves.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.
So fun.
Thanks. Yes, again, don't forget to hit that share button at the bottom. It's a little airplane, paper airplane, and it helps me out because the more viewers, the better, so I can continue doing this every Thursday night. All right, so let's get started. So what I have is I have this super moist yellow cake mix. Right, and it's just Betty Crocker because Duncan Hines been having some problems lately. So we don't want to go Duncan Hines way, right? So I have Betty Crocker cake mix, and we're just going to use this as the base and then like add some cool things. And a new word I've been using lately is zhuzh. So we're just going to zhuzh it right up. Isn't that, don't you just love that word? It's just so much fun to use. We're just going to zhuzh this up. We're going to follow the recipe on the back, and then we're going to add our own little things to it. Look, I'm like legit, guys. Look, I told you. Remember last time I said, oh, next time I'm going to have like clear bowls. Look at me with clear bowls. I'm such a moron. I only have an hour. You guys know I always rush during this part because then the hour comes by really fast. Where'd the scissors go? I got to grab the scissors. Hold on one second. Where'd those go? Okay. Are they behind you? I'll get it. Okay. How are we looking now?
We're good. We're at 6.
You're like,
I was
six,
just like, or 9. 6 or 9, one of the two.
Alrighty, so for anybody that's watching this live, thanks for watching this live. For anybody that's going to watch the replay, it'll be up for 24 hours, but tomorrow it'll be posted on my YouTube channel. Alright, so I got the yellow cake mix, and now it's asking me for a half a cup of vegetable oil. Okay. Half a cup of vegetable oil. 3 eggs. Always crack your eggs in a separate container so that way you don't get any shell in the actual batter. Now let me tell you about this cake. The first time I had it, I've never had anything like this before. Now, like I said, my mother-in-law, she gave me the recipe that was from scratch. Well, this I'm trying something new. I've never made this before, so I don't know how it's going to taste, but I promise you I'm not going to steer you wrong with these flavors. Apricot jam and chocolate cake. Phenomenal. I've only ever had like raspberry and chocolate cake or strawberry and chocolate cake. No. Apricot jam and chocolate cake. I want everybody repeating that to me at the end of the night. Apricot jam and chocolate cake. It sounds like it should go together, right? It tastes so good. You don't understand. Like the idea of having apricot jam and chocolate cake. My mouth is watering. All right. And then, ooh, where's the ingredient list? Oh, do you know how much of I'm supposed to put a tablespoon, I think, of coffee extract, right? It was a tablespoon?
Let's see. Yes.
All right,
1 tablespoon.
So I have a tablespoon of coffee extract. So this is Nielsen Macy. This is from, what, didn't it say something on it where it was from?
I didn't see that.
Ooh. Ooh. Like I breathed it in and I'm still breathing it out in my mouth. Like, wow. That is crazy. So this was a little expensive. I bought, oh, this is from Illinois, but I know they make this their brand is really good though. This Nielsen Macy guy. I've never used coffee extract before, but this smells really good. This smells like there's alcohol in it. Did you smell it?
It smells really good.
Yeah.
It's strong.
So good.
And you can usually find it at like TJ Maxx or Marshall's.
Right.
Stores like that.
I feel like I've gotten it. Oh, here in Georgia, it's the food market in Decatur. So you can find it there. They sell all different types of their extracts. So you may want to check it out there. Like, well, if you're in Georgia, obviously. And then I got a cup of water. And then I have, 6 ounces of chocolate that I'm going to actually melt. But I'm also going to put in a little capful of oil, which I've never done this before, but someone taught me this tonight. So, because you guys know I'm not a real baker, okay? I just melt chocolate. I don't even go through all this like process. So I'm actually gonna melt this and start stirring this, and then I'm gonna actually fold this in. Here's a second. Oh, it fell.
Finally?
I had a cake in my fridge for like 2 months, and it has been standing, and then I just put it on the counter tonight to make room and clean out my fridge, and it finally fell over. It was ready to die.
I'm just gonna zoom in.
So, I don't know if this is like a French recipe. My in-laws are French, so that's why I call it French. Oh, it smells so good. I mean, this alone with this coffee in it just smells delicious. The reason I put the coffee in it because I wanted it to like boost the flavor of the chocolate a little bit more. And something that we're going to do to top off the filling, the jam that we're going to put in it. And this is the jam. I just went to Walmart and grabbed this off the shelf. It's really good jam though. I've used it before on bread. So we're going to top this off with just a little bit of salt. I know some people like to put salt in their buttercream. I don't put salt in my buttercream. So that way I don't have like sweet on sweet on sweet. So it'll be like a nice chocolate cake that's like this coffee undertone. Ooh, my chocolate. Is it like this? Oh, good, they're done. Jesus, flipping hot. I'm coming with my chocolate. Ooh, that's a hot.
Yes.
That was in there for a little too long. I don't know why I went to a baby voice.
Me either.
Alright, I'm just going to give this a little bit of mix just to smooth it out. Make sure there's no bubbles or any chunky chocolate parts. I had somebody ask me the other day, like, why did I call the show Fake It With Me? Well, that's because I don't consider myself a baker. And at the same time, I do have a lot of baking tips that I could give and ideas, but the ideas may not be from scratch. And this may help out for people who may not bake on a, often and may just want to come up with something nice. Or you can use this in your baking company and sell it and zhuzh it up yourselves or do something different with it. have my, sorry, I'm totally like just doing it, not telling you guys what I'm doing. But I'm stirring it, and the reason why I have my hand over it is to feel the heat release from it. It's probably odd, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in the entire world that does it. But the reason why you would want to mix chocolate is it releases some of the heat out of it. Just like if you were stirring your food. And I'm just feeling to make sure that the heat's releasing, and as the temperature changes, I'll feel that in the palm of my hand. Look at me with the baking tips. I'm like a real baker, y'all. Okay. So how are we doing now?
We're good. We're 9.
Oh, look at us. Look at us moving up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
9 people.
Wait, as I do this. The side, is it 9 or a 6?
Yeah, this is the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now I'm going to add this chocolate to this, and then I'm just going to like nicely fold it all in and stir it in. And the chocolate, I just use regular chocolate, milk chocolate. I didn't use like a dark chocolate. You can use any chocolate that you prefer, as long as it's not white chocolate, obviously. You want to be careful about how you fold this, or actually how you stir it, because a lot of times when people use cake mix, they don't get all the way to the bottom of their bowl, and then there's still powder left in there. So make sure you're scraping the bottom of the bowl too. Okay. So it kind of looks like, what do we call these? Like a gingerbread type of cake. It doesn't look super chocolatey. You can add more chocolate if you like, but I found using just 6 ounces of chocolate melts would be perfect. Chocolate that's melted would be perfect. All right, so I have an 8-inch pan here, and it has an 8-inch parchment paper. Baking tip that I do. I do not spray my pans. Spraying your pan will make your cake shrink. Yes, it will release it from the sides, but then you won't have a true 8-inch cake. It'll be like 7 inches and some inches. You know what I mean? So you want it to be a true to size. Don't spray your pan. I don't add butter to it. I used to do butter and then put flour all in my pans for an easy release. No, all of that just shrinks your cake at the end of the day, and I don't want a shrunken cake. So I just cut out a parchment paper that fits the bottom of my cake pan, and then I just pour it in. When it's done baking, then I use like a knife of some sort with a flat edge and just scrape around the pan to release it, and then having the parchment paper helps out also. So I don't know if you guys see this, like all these bubbles in here, right? See all those bubbles? That's all little air pockets. We don't want that when we bake our cake. When our cake rises, because when our cake starts to rise, what ends up happening is you have all these little air pockets and holes in your cake. And I don't want that, because that starts to mess with the function and structure of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this in here, and I'm going to pat this down. Now I like to actually fill mine a third of a cup up, but a third of a way up. But what I realized, because we added the chocolate in this, it adds more of a liquid, and so you don't want that overflow when you're baking this on 350. So maybe if you do still fill it up a third of a way up, put it on 325 and let it sit in there for a good hour and 15 minutes. But if you're gonna do it at 350, do it a little under a third of a way up. Okay, so that way it doesn't overflow. It smells so good. This smells so good. Like, you
Can
smell?
they smell it?
You wanna smell it? It smells so flipping good. All right, so what I do to all of my cakes, I actually pat them. So if you guys see how now all of those bubbles became holes, right? Becomes holes. So that releases some of the air, and what ends up happening is all the bubbles that were at the bottom start to rise up to the top. So when it starts to bake, all the bubbles will come up to the top, right? You see that? How they start to pop? And now I'm going to stick this in the oven You guys probably can't tell on camera, but you see all those bubbles are coming right back up again. You move it all up to the top. And that's great for when you pound it like this. So now I'm going to stick this in a 350 oven and, yeah, and start making the buttercream. So, last time I made buttercream, what happened?
Is it plugged in? Yeah, okay.
Last time I made buttercream, it was so good. It was a hazelnut buttercream. I don't know if you guys remember. I made those pecan butter cupcakes with hazelnut buttercream, and we candied some pecans to them. If you missed it, for all my YouTubers who are watching now, check the eye at the top. I have it right here on the playlist. But if you missed it and you're on Instagram Live right now, after this, go watch it on my YouTube. Oh, those cupcakes came out so good. My daughter loved them. So I'm going to get rid of this because cleanliness is next to godliness. And if you don't believe in God, you just, clean up anyways. Get stuff out the way. What else do I not need? I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. I'm going to move this all out the way. Okay. I'm going to plug this in.
It's so good.
Turned it on and it started like going and rattling. Okay. Alright, so what you'll need for the buttercream. So we're going to do a basic buttercream that I do, and then we're going to zhuzh it up, add some more stuff to it. Okay. Any questions? Anything you guys want to see next time on here that maybe you're afraid to make and you'd rather see me screw it up? Let me know. So I have some butter. This is just my basic butter that I use to like toast my bread. I have some shortening that you can find at Walmart. I also have, what else do I have? Oh, and some powdered sugar. Right? So I have all of these great things. Oh, and then I'm going to go grab the Italian cream. Go get my bow stuff. Italian cream. Yes. Okay, we'll do that one. Okay, so I have my Italian cream and I have my vanilla extract. Now, this vanilla extract, it's okay. It's not everything. But I use it because it was the cheapest thing I have right now because the way that they're selling vanilla extract, like, I don't think so. So I have some vanilla extract and I have some Italian creamer. It's just Coffee Mate, if you're wondering, the name brand creamer. I've never used this before. Everything I do on these live shows is a tester. It's my first time doing it, and if I screw up, then I'll put a bow on it so you'll never know. Hide that little part of it. Like, when you do for cakes, when you screw up a little part of the cake and you're like, well, we'll just stick a bow on this part. Nobody will ever know. Alrighty. So I use this shortening. Literally, we're going to stick this all in here. Well, maybe not all, because we don't really need a lot of it. I don't want to fill, like I'm not frosting an entire cake. We're just going to pipe in the middle. So I don't really need that much, though. We'll just do a bit more. Okay, perfect. So I have some shortening in there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour this powdered sugar in it. If you want measurements from my buttercream recipe, you're not going to get them because I don't measure when it comes to this. I actually really never measure because I find just taste and texture do it for me. But you're a different type of baker, maybe you need measurements. So out of a 48-ounce shortening, I used more than half of it. And for this powdered sugar, I'm using this little, what was that measurement that you said earlier, Alicia?
I don't recall.
For this powdered sugar, I'm just going to use whatever I have left in the bag. And if I need more, I'll add more like so. type of baker I am. I go by taste and I go by texture. If it tastes right and if it looks right, then it's right. All right, so I have those two things. Powdered sugar in my mouth. I have those two things already done. Get rid of what I don't need. And what I normally add to this is some water, but we're not going to use water as the liquid. We're going to actually use the cream as the liquid. And then also I want to add some butter. So I'm going to add some butter, and it might have a toast crumb or two in it, but that's okay. It's just for me, so I don't care. So what was that? 2 spoonfuls for all of you measuring people out there? All right, so some butter, and we're going to put some creamer. You can add water. The creamer is just going to add a little bit more flavor to it, and using creamer actually smooths your buttercream a little bit more than water would. Anything water-based is not going to smooth it 100%. Use something that's more like cream. Oh, I don't drink coffee. All right, so I'm going to add, oh, no, it has this cute little pour thing. Ah, look at, that's cute. All right, so I'm going to pour a little bit in there. It doesn't smell like anything. I thought that would have something to it. No, it smells like nothing. Interesting. I'm going to go get my hazelnut one. See how I just wing it? Like I'm just going off the cuff, you know. Who knows? Any comments, questions, concerns?
Not yet.
We're going to have to find a different setup for that part. All right, because the Italian creamer ain't taste like nothing. I'm not saying it's going to ruin it. I'm just saying I need a little more flavor, and that was for flavor, and that ain't taste like shit. So I'm going to use my hazelnut. It's delicious. So we're going to see how the hazelnut works with the apricot. But if it fails, then I'll just lie to you and tell you it was good. But I know apricot and chocolate taste delicious together. So we're going to add a little bit of that. And I'll do a little bit of vanilla. You know, for shits and giggles. We'll see. Alright. Okay, here we go. We're going to mix this up. Now, first you're probably going to see this little puff, right? For all of you non-bakers out there who've never done this before. But don't worry. That's just the mess that's necessary when you bake some shit. Alright, got that locked on. That's on. It's going to be really loud. So I'm going to mix this until everything's well incorporated. And if I feel like it's gotten too thick, I'm going to add a little bit of more liquid, of whichever liquid of your preference. But if I feel like it's too liquidy, then I'm going to add more powdered sugar to it. Okay, too high. Wait a minute. Let's try that again. There we go. So if you look, it's going to look like cream cheese, right? So this is looking like cream cheese. But don't let that scare you away. I definitely need to add some more powdered sugar to it, though. And I'm just adding it 1/3 cup at a time. So everything's well incorporated the way that I want it to look as far as texture. So now it's getting really thick, right?
I have a question for you.
You have a question for me? Yes, love. What's your question?
Okay, Miss Red 2012 wants to know, do you prefer the whisk or the paddle attachment?
So I like the whisk. And the reason for that is it incorporates everything 10 times more better than your paddle attachment. Your paddle attachment will actually miss parts of the buttercream and not mix it very well. Your whisk will get all through that. So using the whisk is so much more better. I know some of people might think, I don't want too much air in my buttercream. You don't have to worry about that because you want your buttercream to be nice and fluffy. So you want a little bit of that air in it. Every time I talk, it just sounds so smart, right? Like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, see how I added a little more of that creamer? So now it's becoming more smooth. I didn't even sift my powdered sugar. So for all of you naysayers out there that say you should sift your powdered sugar, let me tell you something. I don't sift my powdered sugar, okay, boo-boo? Okay? Okay, boo-boo? So don't worry about it because the liquid will dissolve that powdered sugar if you whisked it correctly. So, okay. So you see how that's like all like nice and fluffy and creamy? but I don't think it's quite there yet because it's a little too stiff for me. And I like mine a little more softer. You know what I mean? Just a little more softer on the side. You know? I mean, use your imagination. I don't know. I'm talking about buttercream. Calm down. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. And if I go too overboard, then, you know, just what the hey. I'll just add some more powdered sugar. A little bit of liquid goes a long way when you're making buttercream. Too much will make it too soupy. Too little, your buttercream will stay too thick. And then again, you got to think about what are you using your buttercream for. Okay, we're going to do a little taste tester. Where's my spoon?
Lucy Sweets has a question for you.
What's up, Mama?
She says, do you use vanilla or just the creamer?
When I make my basic recipe, so when I make my basic buttercream recipe, I just use vanilla. I use a really good vanilla extract. Don't go cheap on that shit. You have to buy a really good vanilla extract. It may cost you $40 for like a little thing. Buy it, okay? Because when it's really good vanilla extract, you only have to put in a little bit. You don't have to put too much, right? This does not taste right. I need more powdered sugar. The flavoring is more shortening and less buttercream tasting. And then I'm probably going to add some more butter. For the creamer, I add the creamer lately. I haven't added the creamer in the past. But lately I've been adding creamer because it's making my buttercream so much more smoother. Which I like that. And it can add a little bit of taste. So it just depends on what kind of creamer you get. The hazelnut really kind of comes out of the buttercream. So just be careful. If you're just looking for something subtle, the hazelnut is not your subtle flavor. What did I need? Powdered sugar. So the texture is nice, but my flavoring is not right. So I need more powdered sugar, and then I'm going to add more of the creamer.
Okay, Miss Red 2012 says she has one last question.
One last, girl. Keep asking them. I'm okay with you asking questions.
She says, I noticed you use the tub of butter. Does it really matter or make a difference? This has been a debate for years, and thanks again.
Listen, you trying to make people come for me. Maybe this is why it's your last question. Because you're like, let me just ask this last question that's going to make people come for her. Do I have powdered sugar on my face?
Not yet.
Listen, don't yet. Listen, a lot of people are really sensitive about this shit, okay? So I'm about to say something that is an unpopular opinion. It doesn't matter. But to a real baker, it will. Use a stick of butter if you want to. Quite frankly, I put this shit on my toast. I don't put a stick of butter on my toast. I put this on my toast. And, you know, this is fine. I put this in my mashed potatoes. I put this in my corn. On my you know, the cob of corn. What is it called? Corn on a cob.
Yeah.
I put, you know. So to me, this is fine. I've worked with stick of butter before. Sometimes I do use a stick of butter. But I'm using whatever I have laying around because at the end of the day, I ain't going out to spend no more money. Especially if I'm eating this cake. If I'm eating it, who gives a shit? If you want the best and delicious ingredients for your customer, because you want to be the best baker out there, just remember, I'm pretty sure your customer goes to McDonald's and eat those giant-ass Whoppers they got there, okay? So don't think that you got to be the best in everything, okay? And it just depends on what your flavoring is. So that's an unpopular opinion, but...
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just preaching today.
Basically what you're saying, butter is butter.
Butter is butter. But don't tell nobody else I said that, okay? Because they're going to really hate me. The fact that I said that. So this has a really subtle flavor to it. Like, it ain't like, I'm looking for like a, bam, I'm Italian, bitch. But it ain't there. So we're using both of them, the hazelnut and the Italian. And I'm putting in a little bit of hazelnut just so I don't have, like, it's not too hazelnutty.
Okay, Miss Red 2012 says, thank you. I love your honesty and realness. I work at Kroger and the customers be tripping me out.
If they shopping at Kroger's and they looking for the best quality, I love me some Kroger's. Don't get me wrong, Kroger's. I love you. But, I mean, I saw somebody once work at Kroger's and they went to the freezer section to grab some shrimp and put it in the fish freezer behind the, you know, where the meat section. Where they go and cut the meat for you. So I was like, bruh, so this ain't special shrimp behind this glass. This the frozen shit that I be buying. So, listen, And then all those bakeries out there, a lot of them use pre-made mix. A lot of people don't know that. So I'm the unpopular choice, is what I like to say.
And Angels_good says, what about salted and unsalted though?
All right, so that just really depends on how you bake your stuff and how you make your stuff. So the unsalted is because you want to control the amount of salt that goes in your ingredients. The salted means that you want it to be whatever amount of salt is in that ingredient. I prefer to get unsalted every time because I like to put my own salt in it, and sometimes I don't want to put salt at all. Sometimes I don't want that flavor. So like I said, that just really depends on your choice of how you want to flavor your stuff. Me personally, I choose unsalted every time. Besides now when I'm using my tub of butter.
Then Miss Red 2012 again says, LOL, they don't know. Them cakes be sitting in the freezer for like 90 days.
Girl, I know that. I know that. Ain't nothing new to me. Okay? But I still run to Publix and get their slice of vanilla cake. Because sometimes, when a woman's on her monthly, she needs that slice of vanilla cake. And I don't care how long that thing's been sitting in the freezer, it's still good. So the shortening, I don't know if anybody's ever eaten shortening before. All it is it's like fat grease that's stiffened up. Oh, see, I put so much liquid in there, and now it's become like a little muddy. But the flavor in shortening, there is no flavor. It's nothing. It tastes like nothing. So adding a lot of sugar to it helps it develop it. And the reason you use a shortening is 1, for shelf life, 2, for texture, and 3, it's just fat put together. And if you think nobody else uses shortening, nope, everybody uses shortening in their. This is an American buttercream. It's a crusted buttercream, which means that it crusts. You frost it, and if the buttercream sits for a while, it'll start crusting on the outside, which will last longer.
I have a question.
You?
Me.
Okay, go ahead,
Yes.
ask your question, girl.
So what about like traveling with a crusted buttercream? Is it better versus like a regular buttercream without the Crisco?
Yeah, I only ever like using a crusted buttercream only because it keeps its shape longer and it lasts longer. If you don't have shortening in it, that means you just have pure butter, and obviously butter has probably some type of milk in it, and that's why they tell you to put your butter in the fridge, because they sit their butters in fridge all the time, because after a while it has an expiration date.
Okay. Miss Red 2012 has a question. She wants to know, would you ever use Sam's buttercream icing?
Okay, so I just recently found out that like Sam's and Costco sell like giant tubs of buttercream, and for clients, I never would use it, only because that's the baking side in my heart, where I like to always make my buttercream from scratch, only because sometimes I like a certain flavor and a certain texture. Now, that doesn't mean I wouldn't eat a Sam's cake myself, but it's not what I would want to offer my customers. I always make it from scratch as far as the buttercream goes. And that just, like I said, that just depends, because a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of bakers out there that use pre-made mix that they just get from like Costco's and Sam's Club, the same place that. The reason I started making an American crusted buttercream and only offering that to my customers was because my customers would always tell me, oh, I want that buttercream like at Publix. But at the time when I started baking, Publix didn't offer buttercream. And I started going in there asking them for a little bit of buttercream so I could put it on their cupcakes. And now all of a sudden now they're offering it. So I don't know if it was because of me or whatever. But yeah, and then I was just like, well, it's actually less money if I make it myself. So a lot less money. Maybe not a lot less time, but a lot less money if I just make it myself. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm scraping the bottom of this because, I love KitchenAid. And if KitchenAid is out there and they ever want to sponsor me, I love you so much. But I don't know if you guys know this, their paddles don't get to the bottom of those bowls. Like, for some reason, there's like a crevice that it won't touch. So there's always like some dry stuff down there that you got to kind of mix it up together. Look how smooth that is, right? Now I just got to make sure it tastes right. And if it doesn't, then we're going to put it back on there and add a little bit more. I don't even need this much. What the hell was I thinking? All right, so we're going to try some more. It smells good. Can you smell the hazelnut?
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice subtle flavor. I like it because you gotta remember I gotta put that apricot jam, and the apricot jam is already gonna bring a lot of sweetness. I kind of like this. I like it. I get excited about these things. So, all right. So what do I need to do? I need to clean up my mess because I made my buttercream. With the magic of TV, we already have some pre-made cakes already here for you that we already finished. So I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. I'm gonna bring the cakes and we're gonna start putting it together. I never make it under an hour. It always cuts off on me because Instagram be hating. Y'all didn't see that part. So hopefully I got enough time. Oh my God, I got powdered sugar all over me. To clean up, what do I need? Do I need anything? I hate to like have to keep coming back and forth. Any more questions? What else do you guys want to know? I'm an open book. Ask me anything. I'm such a dork.
Miss Red 2012 said she remembered the cake that you did for Sweet Fest, the big ass cake. That cake was beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks, Boo. I did that myself. I appreciate you. Thanks, Boo.
Lucy Sweet says you should go live more often.
I do. What you mean, Lucy? Hold on. Lucy, hold on 1 second. Oh, look at this mess.
I need the charger too.
What happened to the charger? Oh, is it dying?
Yes.
Really? Already? Okay. Yes. Let me say something, Lucy. Where you at? Lucy, listen, girl. I'm gonna pull it. Oh no, here. Here, pull the camera at me.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I do go live. This question was like asked 5 minutes ago. I do go live. So hopefully every Thursday you'll come in 7:15. No, don't hold me to that. 7:45. Probably 8. 8 o'clock every Thursday. We'll go live, and I do one of these where I go fake it with me, where I make something that, you know, that's easy to make and quick to make. Doesn't take too long. And, yeah, or I'll also do Fix It Fridays. And Fix It Fridays is basically, well, I'll be doing them on Thursday. Fix It Fridays will basically be, you guys ask a question on how to fix a certain situation, and I will go live and show you guys how to do it. So make sure you guys ask all those questions now, because maybe next Friday or the Friday after that, I'll do it.
Okay, do me a favor, NYC.
Yes.
Says, well, not 100% cake related.
Okay, that's fine.
But would you ever come to New York and teach a class?
I am coming. Where y'all be at? I am coming. I'll be on the brink of New York. I'll be actually in a Jersey bakery teaching. It's called Chic Sugars. They're here on Instagram. I'll be teaching a class there. They're right outside the New York City. I'm going to, plug the phone in because it's dying.
Thank you.
Is it charging?
I think so.
Okay. So I will be in New York. Check out my website for the dates of me traveling. If you want to go to that class, you have to go to their website and purchase my class. All the other classes I have on my website, you can go and purchase from. And that class is the Epic Wedding Cake class, where we'll be doing a 37-inch tall wedding cake. Wafer paper flowers, all of those things. You don't have to be perfect at it. You can be a beginner with experience. And a beginner with experience means that you've worked with fondant before. You might not have been great at it, but you've worked with it. Not a problem. You can still take this class.
Island Girl Delights has a question.
Yes, Island Gal. What's
She
up,
says, are you posting your lives for a later watch? I came late.
Yes. So, great question. So, if you missed the beginning part of this, it's available for up to 24 hours. But if you missed that 24 hours, or if you want to watch me several times in one day, which would be weird, but I don't mind it at all. If you want to watch me more, you can go on YouTube, my YouTube channel, More Cake, Yes Ma'am. Go on my YouTube channel, and all of my lives will be posted up there. So then you guys can go back. And then also in the description will be a little bit of the tool list of what I use and the ingredients.
Miss Red 2012 says, you're a natural with this thing.
Thanks. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've done this a couple of times. Been around a camera a couple of times. Well, really a camera phone really right now. All right.
Lucy Sweet says, I got to turn on my post notifications, then Perfect. And it's
Yeah.
Eastern time, correct?
Yes, I'm Eastern. I'm in Georgia. Alrighty, so I have that done. I'm just trying to clean up because I cannot work with like clutter. And that's a tip for all of you bakers out there doing cakes for customers. Clean up. Each step, stop, clean up. You want to know why? Because if your surface looks a mess, then that's what your mind looks like. And then that's how you're working. You're working like it's a mess. You're like, oh, I gotta finish this, and everything's looking like shit because you didn't take the time to stop and clean up. And the last thing I want y'all to do is be like, child, she got shit all over the counter. She couldn't even wipe her surface. And my dad is from South Kakalaki, and he taught me that after you do each step, you clean up after yourself. That's just like a southern thing. I don't know. Okay.
And Yosh Sweets Treats, or Yo Sweets Treats. I'm sorry, I'm butchering this. The question is when. I'm imagining she's asking when you're coming to New York.
When am I coming to New York? Oh man, that's such a good question. I don't know the date right off the top of my head right now, but I want to say sometime in the summertime. That's what I want to say. Either June, July, I can't quite remember, or May, June, or July. So don't hold me to that. I can't remember quite right now because I have a lot of places I'm going next year, and I can't recall every single one of them at the moment.
Yes, she wanted to know when you were going to New
Yeah.
York. And it's Yosha. I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry.
Oh, did she
Yes,
correct you?
yes.
My bad. Okay, so I'm going to use a piping bag and a piping tip. I'm just going to put some buttercream in it. The piping tip I'm using, I think this is a Wilton 1A or Wilton 2A. That was something we were supposed to look up before we started, but whatever. It's just a round tip. It's just a round tip, child. It doesn't matter what tip you want to use. That's just for the buttercream part. Oh, those scissors. Okay.
And you're rocking the powdered t-shirt now.
You should have seen what the t-shirt looked like earlier. My children, you know, my children. All right, if you've never piped the bag before, I have a tutorial on YouTube, but you can see it live now. So I just put the tip in and I just cut around the top, right, to take off that tip from the bag. And I like to twist this part, put it down in a cup, like my Moroccan looking cup, push the bag down, and then fold it over, right? Because you don't want any buttercream on these edges. And now I'm going to throw some buttercream on the inside, my nice smooth, look at that smoothness. And I did not sift my powdered sugar, okay? And I put it in and I move it down.
So Tanisha Monique says that's her bow and she wants you to give it back. She's laughing, so I take it that's a no, Tanisha.
She's been trying to get this bow from me since the middle of the year. Listen, we have to see each other again because guess what? I'm going to gift you with a bow. Ain't this bow? Oh my God, I just see my reflection. Look how cute I look. I look really cute. But I'm going to get you a bow, girl. I think about it every time I pick up the bow. Don't worry. I got you. You're so funny. All right. So I have a cake stand. This is Sugarworks Cake Stand. They gave me a coupon code, MORECAKE10, if you want 10% off their website. I got to put everything here because, again, Instagram only gives you an hour. And God knows I've probably gone over it already. I'm going to go get my cakes. 1, 2, 3.
Tanisha says thank you. Yes, and you look cute in her bow, sis.
Oh.
Just so we're clear.
Just so we're clear. You still look cute in my bow. Okay, so let me grab a knife. Alrighty. So what I just realized is I don't have a cake board. Because that was one of the things we said to get. Let me grab a cake board while you guys look and smell these delicious cakes. Aren't they pretty? Okay. Ha! Do I have the scissors? Great. I don't have an 8-inch, so we're just gonna make an 8-inch. I gotta move fast because I feel like I've been on here for a long time and I don't want to have to come back. Amazon. You can get a bunch of cake boards for cheap. I've never decorated this cake like this before, so this will be interesting to see what this looks like at the end. I'm intrigued to know. Okay. That's going to be good enough for now. Alrighty. I'm just going to put a little bit of buttercream on the bottom of there. And put that to the side until I need it. And now my cake, when I torte my cakes, I leave them in the cake pan. And I just, sorry, you just got these out of the freezer because they had to cool because they were in the oven for a long, long time.
That smells so good.
Ooh, look at that. Look how moist that is. I can hear it like, it's like a sponge. It's like a little sponge. So I normally throw these away. That was good. You want to try some?
Yes.
But I got a lot of it, so I'm gonna throw this one away because we got a lot of cake. Chocolatey, right? It tastes real chocolatey.
And it's not dry either.
Right, it's not dry. The edges right now, because I had to stick it in the freezer, so they turned into like a cookie.
That's exactly what it tastes like.
Right, it kind of tastes like a cookie, right? Oh, I'm making just a mess. But
and he has these like these undertones of like some type of a nut or something.
Right. I feel like I taste the coffee in it. Yeah, I feel like I taste.
But it's not overly
no,
coffee.
Not at all. It's a subtle, like a subtle chocolate. So I'm just trying to clean this up a little bit.
Miss Red 2012 wants to know, do you use a simple syrup?
No. Simple syrup is really just to keep your cakes moist. I don't ever have a problem with that. I know also sometimes people do like a flavoring simple syrup. To me, that's an extra step that can be avoided if your cake comes out moist. You know?
Island Gal Delights is salivating right now. She's giving me the drooling emojis.
It smells really good. It smells really good. Oh. Listen. The cake part. We got the crisp. We only got the outside crisp of it just now. But this cake tastes really good. Yeah. Okay, so I hope y'all got that recipe right. I added that coffee creamer. I added the chocolate, but it was just milk chocolate. It wasn't like a dark chocolate. I don't think you should add dark chocolate. Like dark chocolate would be too much of a flavor. Like it would be too hard, you know? And that's why I have like that subtle hazelnut buttercream we're putting on that was supposed to be Italian, but that Italian didn't smell like anything, which tells me it wasn't gonna taste like anything either.
Okay, someone with the handle something photography, and I don't want to butcher the first part of the name, wants to know what's the occasion.
Nothing. But you can make this for Christmas. There's no occasion. We're just doing it. Fake it with me on here. Well, I'm teaching you some tips and tricks on what you can do to make an easy recipe from not scratch, you know, for your friends and family. What's going to happen with this cake is me and Alicia going to eat the shit out of it as soon as we're done. That's what's going to happen.
So I'm going to keep the camera kind of focused on the cake because Miss Red 2012 wants to make sure she doesn't miss a thing.
Yes. So if you're asking, is this how Jelena torts her cake? Yes, this is how Jelena torts her cake. I only use a serrated knife meaning a bread knife. I keep my hand on it, and I bake it in a 2-inch pan, and that's how I leave it. I don't tort it even more. What torting means, for people who don't know what torting is kind of like leveling your cake or cutting the dimensions of it to get the width and height that you want. Now, is that the formal definition? I don't know. I've never looked up the word, but I've been doing it for 12 years, so I'm assuming that's exactly what it means.
We're going to go with that.
Yep. Alrighty.
Tanisha Monique Cupcakes wants to know,
yes, boo.
What turntable is that?
This is Innovative Sugarworks turntable. I have a coupon, More Cake 10, More Cake, and the number 10, 10. You get 10% off anything off their website. Yeah. So here, you
it
see
is
the little
really
logo on the front of it?
nice.
It's great because it also has like a little knob so you can stop turning it, and you know you can turn it smoothly or a little more harder. Just cleaning up my area. Oh my God, behind here is a mess, Chop.
Okay, I'm going to call this young lady D Photography because I cannot for the life of me get the first part of her.
Dadiana. Yeah.
Okay.
Dadiana. Hey, Dadiana girl.
Yes. She needs you to share this recipe ASAP.
Dadiana lives like 15 minutes down the street, girl. I'll bring you a piece of cake. She lived down the street from me. This is a yellow box cake mix with 6 ounces of chocolate milk. Nope. 6 ounces of milk chocolate and a tablespoon of coffee extract. Mixed in, baked at 350. And then that's all we've done so far as the cake part. And then the frosting is a hazelnut buttercream, which I made before. It was supposed to be an Italian, but that wasn't working out. So we just went with hazelnut, a subtle hazelnut at that. Okay.
And Tanisha Monique Cupcake says she is not about to remember this. Is it on the page? Because the wine got her down.
Yes.
We need to go hang out with her.
Yes. So this will be on when I post it on YouTube. This information will be in the description below. So, but you guys get first hand at it because you came on Instagram Live. All right. So now I'm just gonna release it. So you can grab any cake. Nope, that's not what I meant. Any knife that has a straight edge. And just start scraping around the sides. If you've taken my classes, you know this trick. And if you screw up the cake, you also know the trick on how to fix it. Which I can't do right now because that's not the purpose of this. So.
Beautiful.
Isn't it? Isn't
Yep.
it? Ooh, it's nice and sturdy too. I like me a sturdy cake. Yes, child. Love me a sturdy cake. All right. So that's one. Ooh, it is nice and sturdy. Y'all don't understand how excited I am. Okay. All right, Jelena, focus. All right.
Miss Red 2012 says that she loves staying in Atlanta. So many talented people.
Yes, there are so many talented people here. Wait, you stay in Atlanta? How come I haven't met you, girl? Where have you been? Why haven't you come to my pop-up classes or any of my on-hand classes?
Get her.
Where have you been? If you're not interested in classes, come to my meetups I got going on next year. Next year, we're going to be going indoor skydiving. We're going to be going hiking. We're going to be going whitewater rafting. Some adventure for everybody. Listen, girl, I don't play. Okay. We should have had a timer to tell us when there's an hour has been used.
Or 55 minutes. And then it's like...
Is it 55?
No. I said we need to get a timer for 55 minutes. It's just, right, for that exact moment.
Let me make a disclaimer. If we get cut off, y'all better come back. Because I'll be decorating this cake. So make sure y'all come back if you miss it. I mean, well, not if you miss it, but if it gets cut off. Okay, the third one. Okay, there we go. So you see how it's a true to size 8-inch. Not this like frivolous 6-inch, 7-inch that happens with it. We're going to make this
And
more
it's
often,
perfect.
boo.
It's like not...
This more often, boo. This right here, I'm fight you over this one right here. I wish somebody would talk
Just
to me
like,
about
I will take the earrings off of this
Right.
cake.
Okay. All right. So I have this beautiful. I have this going on. I'm excited. Okay. Get it together, Jillian. Relax. All right. So I'm gonna just do something really cute and unique. I'm just gonna dab buttercream.
And this is where the artist comes in, because she's not a baker.
I'm not a baker.
And I put that in air quotes.
I just thought it would be really cute. Because usually it's just apricot jam in the middle. And then I put the other layer and I go about my day. And then powdered sugar on top. But this time I thought it would be something really cute we can decorate, you know, as the family. Because that's what we are here. Oh, shit. Here we go. If you don't know that little trick, how to open up a jar. Maybe I didn't do it very well. In my head, I'm racing against a clock.
An invisible clock,
An
because I'm like,
invisible
we don't
clock
know.
that just stresses me out. Okay. Ha! I did it. Where's that spoon at?
That's what you just had it.
So we're just going to use a spoon down here. Okay. I had a spoon. All right, so apricot jam. It smells good. You can use any jam, really. Like a citrusy jam. You can use an orange jam if you want to. But listen, apricot is the way to go. Make sure you get those little crevices. Don't skip out on the jam.
So it's almost like you're creating a barrier or a border.
Right. So they call this, normally this would be a bridge, which if it was piped all the way around like a snake in a circle, that's called a bridge. You don't have to do that. I just did it because I thought this would be cute for like the holidays and I wanted to add a little something else to it. Okay. So perfect. All right. So now let me put the next layer on.
This is so
Is
pretty.
it cute? Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing all over again.
You have 1minute and 56 seconds remaining.
Okay. Okay. All right. Listen, I don't have time to talk to y'all. Stop asking me questions. I got to get this together. And my bag wants to act stupid now. So these bubbles are about to be real small. Okay. You see what happens here? One of these days I'm going to practice this to make sure that I'm actually like doing it within an hour. Okay. If you're just going to cut me off, I'm going to talk to you guys. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram. Share this with your friends and family. Make sure you let them know where you got it from because I come on here because I love you guys and I want you guys to love me back. And if you guys don't love me back, that's going to hurt my feelings. Okay. Oh, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. No. And then I had some apricots that I was going to put on here. You know, just zhuzh up the little pieces and stuff like that. This looks stupid, but I probably would fix it and put little dots around it and then put like apricots on it. But look how cute that is. Oh, and it smells so good. And let me tell you something. I'm going to eat.
Not by yourself, because
Okay, not myself. Yeah, there is someone else here with me. So I'm going to eat this and we're going to enjoy the shit out of it. I love all of you. I really appreciate you. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. If you're not following me on YouTube or subscribing to my channel, you have to because I come out with tutorials all the time. I've come out with some Christmas ones, some big giant cakes to little tiny cupcakes, all different types of things I do. My name's Jelena from More Cake Yes Ma'am Badass Edible Art. And thanks. And everybody have a happy Christmas if you don't come back Thursday. But I know all of you will. So. We have fun. I'll send pictures to make sure you check